welcome to day 3. Today we are going to focus on making gift tags out of pattern paper. When I am mass producing something, I grab my pattern paper because it makes short work of the job ahead of me, and I went overboard as usual. So let me show you what we're going to make and let's get started. There are many different pattern papers out there. Doodlebug has some of my favorites. This is called Milk and Cookies. Unfortunately, I am showing you papers that have been around for quite a while and we probably cannot get, but in the blog description, I am linking to a whole bunch of new products that I actually love, and I think I'm going to have to buy a few collections myself. This Pebbles Merry Little Christmas, in my last video, I called it Peebles. Most of is one of my favorites. Now, they all come in 6x6, I shouldn't say almost, and 12x12. But look at the difference of the size of the pattern. Even this little strip at the top is smaller and bigger. So keep that in mind when you're ordering your paper, whether you want 6x6 or 12x12. A lot of the Christmas collections from the different companies include pre-made tags, designs, things that you can cut out. I love the Pebbles. I love, again, a couple of other companies that I will link to in the description in my blog. And usually you get 2 different pages of each one. I did want to show you that in this particular situation, the 6x6 and the 12x12 pre-made designs are the exact same. So if you can only find the 12 in this Merry Little Christmas, go right on ahead because it's beautiful, beautiful cardstock. And I love the way the designs are. This one actually has like a little advent calendar where you can cut out the doors. And then they also have these tags as well. So I went overboard in making these and I made way too many things. And I went through my stash and I looked at all the dies that I have in my stash. I wanted to utilize what I had. This one's kind of cool, cuts 3 at a time, and then you can cut these individually. This is one of my favorites, the Simon Says Stamp Presents and Stocking. You can paper piece them together, and I will show you an example of that, and I will show you an example of the stocking in just a second. This is a tag that I made last year, cutting it out with a Stamp Market tag and then paper piecing the paper together and adding a heat embossed sentiment. This is a really great tag. So go through your stash and look for tags, or I will link to the one that I used, and just go to Simon Says Stamp or scrapbook.com or L at Hudson or your favorite shopping place and write in tag dies and you will have a multitude of choices. So this is the one I'm using today, the Simon Says Stamp Stitched Dressed Up tags. This is one of my favorites. I'm using the Merry Little Christmas paper from Pebbles, and I'm using some twine. I have some twine from my stash. Fawn has some great twine too. I will link to those for you. So I want to pull all the papers out because in this particular situation, I want that little strip at the top. I'm going to piece that and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that in just a second. I also want the pages that have the pre-made, pre-designed tags. And with those strips, we're going to paper piece those strips and put them on this tag and then a piece of paper, and then we're going to cut it out. It's really fun and it's really, really easy. Now, I like this Fiskars trimmer because you can actually see where you're cutting. That little silver thing right there on the left, when you put your paper in and you line it up, you can see I'm kind of going really slow here. And you can never get it exact. I always end up having to trim a little bit off of one of them, but it's really darn close. I put my paper at the bottom against the stopper, and I take my trimmer and I go from top to bottom and I hold down so it does not move. And there's my 3 that I'm cutting out. I'll cut off this top strip and I'll save all the top strips in a bowl. Come back to them in a second. And I'll cut all these off and I'll cut the little V's and I'll hole punch the top of them so I have a place for my string. And I've decided I'm going to make gift tags for Christmas presents, and my day 4 video will show you how I package all of these tags and give you some ideas on how to package your tags and your cards that you make. So these spring line scissors are awesome, and when you're cutting, don't put the tip any farther than you want to cut. It's an old sewing trick, because the minute you put the tip past where you want to cut, you're going to cut where you don't want to cut. So never put your tip past where you want to cut. So I'm just trimming these all off. It didn't take very much time. It was really easy. And now I'm going through and I'm cutting all of the tops off of the paper. And then I will keep, well, that was my cat yelling at us. Sorry about that. He likes to keep me company while I'm doing videos. So I'm grabbing this Simon Says stamp die set, and it has two toppers, one with holes, and it has these little, I call them reinforcements. I don't know what they're called in today's world, but I call them reinforcements for the top of the tags. Line up your die really well, and if it has a design, make sure that you're getting it straight. I love this topper with the holes, but it's a little fiddly to pop out all the little dots, so I did not use it as often as I should have. So I just start die cutting, and when I'm all done, I lay it out, see what I got, see what I need more of. I did cut some out of red cardstock. I cut some of the toppers out of different color cardstock. There is no right or wrong way. You just die cut to your heart's content and go for it. So these were a little flimsy, so I wanted to make them a little more substantial, so I'm gluing them onto some red cardstock, and I'm just cutting them out with my scissors, and they make really great, cute little quick tags. And I have some great ideas to show you in a little bit on, if you don't have pre-printed things, what you can do for your tags that make it really fun and unique. So this is an 1/8 of an inch hole punch. It's not very big, but I didn't want a really big one. And I'm hole punching these guys as well. And I do assembly line. When I do it, I do all of one thing, all of the next thing, all of the next thing. I don't go back and forth, back and forth. So I've cut some white cardstock to 2 1/4 by, I think, 4. And I'll show you why I picked this size in just a second. And again, assembly line. I'm putting tape runner on 4. Now they do get, I should have put them aside a little bit more. I do get my fingers stuck on them. But I'm making a video, sometimes I forget. So these have a little hole in the middle. You want to be able to utilize both sides of that strip. So you're just gonna, see how the left side is right at the edge, and I'm turning the right side so the hole is on the other side. And that is going to be the angle of my paper piecing, my strips that I'm going to be putting in. And I'm just kind of going through, make sure that your strips are right side up. Why do I say that? I'll show you in a little bit. I have quite a few things that are upside down. Hopefully my recipients won't notice, or they'll go, oh, there's Jane. She did it upside down again. And I'm just kind of grabbing it all. It's nice to have everything all cut out. Need to make sure your left side is completely covering that left side. I'm just putting a mixture of pattern designs. There were some reds, some different colors. I'm not butting up the reds together. I'm not, putting the greens all together. And the strips are really cute because the designs are centered in the middle. If you don't have this Pebbles paper or anything like this that has this design, just go through your stash and find your pattern paper. And these are 1/2 inch strips. I actually measure them. And just go and cut yourself a bunch of 1/2 inch strips. So now I'm looking at this. Do I need a strip at the top? If I'm going to put a topper on this, do I really need to add a strip? And my answer is no, I don't need one. But then I decided to add one anyhow because I didn't want that to be a little bit thinner than the top. I thought it might look kind of weird, but no one will probably notice. It's a gift tag. They take them off and they throw them away, right? Although sometimes I do make my family save their gift tags and give them back to me, and they already have their names on them, and I'll use them the next year. So how's that? So I know I don't have to do that top corner because I'm all good. So I'm just going to take my Teflon scissors. Teflon scissors are really good for this, but if you don't have any, you just use whatever you got. And I'm cutting it off close to the edge because I want to save some of those longer pieces. I don't need to save these little tiny bits. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover, oh, one of them fell off, so I'm grabbing a little bit of glue there, putting that last piece in there. So when you do your tape runner, try to get it as close to the edge as possible. I always go err on the side of not on the edge because I don't want it all over my my glass media mat, but you know. And here I'm doing it again, making sure the hole is on the other side. And that's what I did for all 4 of those 2 1/4 by 4 inches. So I have some scraps of red cardstock here. I am cutting out my tag. Don't cut it out upside down. Again, how do I know? So I just cut all 4 out. I'm taking the toppers and I'm gluing all 4 of the toppers on the top with some liquid glue. I love Lawn Fawn and Gina K equally as well. And I think they came out really well. So then I went ahead and cut out a whole bunch of those reinforcements and I'm gluing them on there. And I think they came out really cool. And I'm using a lot of scraps for these, which is awesome. So I'm using that Lawn Fawn Say What Christmas Critters. I went through my stat. Now I have I inventory all my supplies with a something called Evernote, and I have a big tutorial on how to do it. It's really easy. And I went through and I typed in to from, and all of the stamp sets that have to from popped up, and I was able to choose which one I wanted rather than going through them all. So I lined them up. I used a Simon Says Stamp Misty Grid Transparency to make sure they were straight. And I'm assembly lining stamping. So I'm done with all making the tags. I'm done die cutting. I'm done putting them all together. Now watch. I'm just showing you my fail. I'm not even paying attention. Look at that. I stamped it on the wrong side. And then I'm going to go with number 2. Stamping it on the wrong side. I'm like, Jane, what is wrong with you? And then I go to this 3rd one and I realize, oh, look at that. I messed up. What a shame. I thought, well, maybe I can give them to somebody, but I changed my mind and I cut off the toppers and I put them in save the rest. I'm sorry, save the toppers and threw away the rest. And if you notice from the other tags, I put them all on the side upside down so I didn't repeat that. So I don't want to take the to from out of my Misty because I'm not sure if I'm finished with my tags and I like the way it's lined up. So I'm just laying this red one on. I realize it's 3/4 of an inch from the bottom and I'm stamping to from. So the beauty of video editing is these are all of the tags that I made, all of the components. These are my piles of components. So I'm trying to figure out, well, how do I want to handle it? What do I want to do with these red tags? Well, these little squares are just beautiful. So I pop them up with some foam tape and they actually match. There's some of the snowmen and some of the skaters, the holly, the poinsettias, I mean. Okay, here's one example of one upside down, another one upside down. Don't be me. I'm taking my tonic, Wink of Stella work and my glitter pen. I'll link it below. I'm losing my mind, I think, whatever. So I'm just highlighting a lot of these just to give them a little sparkle and shine because it's Christmas time and you like a little sparkle and shine. I've cut all of my twine to 12 inches. When I'm giving things away as gifts, I like them to be very uniform. And Lawn Fawn, this is just twine from my stash. Lawn Fawn has some amazing twine. I will link to all the twine. So I'm taking the 2 cut ends, putting them together, looping them through the back, and then pulling. And I'll tell you why. I have that knot there. I like that knot in the front. I know, call me crazy. And then there's the back. So I prefer the knot in the front. I will find later on it's a lot easier to take the folded end and put it through from the front because I was struggling with trying to get the little ends through those little tiny tags. So take the folded end and put it through the front. So we're going to decorate these tags now. My favorite things, winter trees, memory box swirl. I don't think you can get either of those and I'm sorry for that. But I'm just showing you your options. Just go through your stash, go online, type in tiny trees, snowflakes, bells, you name it, and you just figure out and just buy what suits your fancy. So I already cut out some trees. I cut out the tree from that add-on die set, and these are all of my snowflakes. You're going to zhuzh them up, meaning you're going to give them a little fluff. That's what Laura Basson calls them. She zhuzhes her things up. And I'm just putting a little dot of glue in the middle, and I am laying down my snowflakes. This is how you decorate your tags when you do not have pre-printed whatevers. This did not take very much time. I love the one you can just, run 5, 6, 7 things through your die cut machine at once. For some reason, I put everything on the left. I do not know why I do that. You can put things on the right too. There's no law about the left. I'm taking that tonic pen and I'm putting it on my snowflakes because I wanted a little bling on my snowflakes. I thought that would be kind of fun. And I glued all 3 of those snowflakes on that red tag. Now, I did these off camera, same process, but this this gold paper was also in this paper pack, and I wanted to use some of the gold paper. So Ranger has this amazing metallic cardstock, and so I cut the toppers and I cut the snowflakes out of that. And I wanted to show you that you can color your rhinestones with Sharpie. You do not have to buy a bunch of different color rhinestones. You buy them, Stampin' Up! Has sheets like this. Well, they used to. Other people may. And you color them any color you want. Pick them up with your little poker tool, and they stick to it, and you put them on down, and you do not have to buy rhinestones in a billion different colors. I have a bunch of Sharpies, and I color the ones I want. So I cut the snowflake and the topper out of that Ranger paper. It's Tim Holtz, actually, and it's gold and silver, and I will, of course, link to that. So I put the red rhinestones in the middle of the snowflakes. I put the reinforcement on the top of the tags. And this is how you can make them when you do not have pre-printed products. These are the ones that are just tags. I did put a red backing on the back of every single one of them to give them a little more reinforcement. And there's a red snowflake. Here's the ones where I could cut out the little squares. So I popped them all up on foam tape. I tried to match them up with the person making the snow angel. And if you don't have those, you can get little tiny critters. It does not take long to color those little tiny critters, and you can pop that bump up on your tags, and they look really, really good. I love the way they came out. I never know how many tags I should give away. Do I give away 2, 4, 6? I feel like 10's a little excessive, maybe 5. What do you all think? So these are the ones where I put the little tag on the top. These are the trees. I put some of that tonic aqua shimmer pen, that's what it is, on the top of the trees just to give them a little bling, and I colored some red rhinestones and put them on there for just a little, Christmas blingy bling. And here are all the other ones I made with that tag that came down. But again, you can actually cut a tag like that and just do an all-over stamping background on a 6x6 piece of paper and cut it all out and make it all to match. Do some gold or silver heat embossing, white heat embossing, whatever. You can do whatever. You don't have to have all of these pre-printed things. So these are all the tags that I made. I hope you like them. Be on the lookout for day number 4. I am going to show you how you package your gift tags. Now, as a bonus, I wanted to show you what you could do with other paper. This is Doodlebug Milk and Cookies. I have linked to a bunch of Doodlebugs for you. Doodlebug always has those stripes, and it always has these tags. So you can cut those out and use those for your tags. So I did the exact same thing for these as I did for the others, but I wanted to show you what a different pattern paper would look like. I cut all of the tags. I cut all of the toppers. I cut out all of the reinforcements. I really didn't know how many I was going to make. I just started cutting. I ended up with 8 of these tags and 2 of a stocking, which I'll show you in just a sec. I put them together exactly the same way. I did cut these out with a little white border around them. I started to not, and then I did because I like the white border better. I fussy cut this one out, and I like the way it kind of popped it all up with foam tape. That's just a square. They're all stamped with to and from. And then this is the Simon Says stamped stocking die. I cut it out of 2 pieces of paper and I made 2 tags. One has the Santa on the top and one has the Santa on the middle. So go ahead, get yourself some pattern paper, grab yourself some tag dies, and go on and make some tags for your own gifts, holiday gifts this year, or give them away as gifts. Thanks for stopping by. And I hope to see you on day number 4, packaging your gift tags and cards.